Hello, beautiful friends, and welcome back to the Create Podcast with me, Kat. And today I want to do a quick episode on how to get out of a funk, how to pick yourself up again. Maybe you experienced a big setback, or maybe you were in a depressive episode. We all go through seasons, whether it is something that's outside of your control, or maybe it was just your mindset, or you felt really discouraged to the point where it was hard to pick yourself back up, and it was hard to keep yourself motivated to pursue your goals and dreams. And I'm very familiar with this place, and I've been there several times in my life. And most recently, this past winter has been really challenging for me. I think going through many personal changes, as well as still recovering from a few years ago. And on top of that, dealing with the crazy weather we had where it was just snow and ice and dark and gloomy, it was a really challenging time. So if you also had a tough time, I just want to let you know you're not alone and we're going to get through this together. But I will be sharing some things that really helped me and some mindset reframes I had to implement in order to get out of the funk, out of my negative spiral, and back on the horse, back to pursuing my dreams. And because it is the year of the horse, I think it's a perfect metaphor because I do believe that we are worthy of pursuing our goals and dreams. And as Catherine Zinkina shared, what's desired by me is destined for me. So I am really taking that to heart, and I hope you do as well. So number one is, I know this is going to sound really obvious, but if you're going through a dark season, whether it is something with mental health or your nervous system, burnout, anxiety, depression, all those things, taking care of your body is really important. And I'm going to take it a step deeper. And if this doesn't resonate, feel free to move forward to the next tips. But last year, I really felt the call to go completely sober. And it was a dramatic and very radical thing to do. But every time I would even have a glass of wine or drink with friends, I would feel physically very ill. My stomach would be a mess. I had really low energy to the point where even if I only had one drink, I would end up sleeping the entire next day. So I'm sharing this. It's a little bit vulnerable, but nonetheless, I wanted just to be honest about this because it was a thing. It was affecting me and my business and my mental health. So I would get really guilty and I would feel down on myself. And a part of me really wanted to be social and to interact with other people. But another part of me was like, okay, well, this is clearly harming me. And we all know alcohol is not good for us. But I mean, some people in moderation don't have a problem. And, if you have an actual addiction or you need support with this, please, I'm going to include some resources for hotlines and things like that. But in the end of the year, my friend Sarah wrote this book called Sober Magic, and it was basically following the 12 steps. And it was all about her sobriety journey and using tarot as a tool to support you in that. At the end of the day, it actually ended up changing my life. And shout out to Sarah. You can listen to that episode. And I kept hearing this voice. I'm like, give it a try, give it a try, give it a try. So this week was actually 3 months since I fully let go of everything that wasn't serving me. And it's been challenging. It was actually really amazing at first. I felt so good. And then in February, when my winter seasonal blues took full effect, it was the toughest part. And it wasn't even like a substance withdrawal. It was more the lack of sort of social outlet. And I really had to learn to enjoy being out with friends and just being fully me, and the benefits have been incredible. But for you, maybe it's not that. For you, maybe it's making sure you're eating your veggies, you're drinking your water, going to bed at a decent hour. So I think having a healthy lifestyle, whatever that means for you, everyone's different, is really important, because if we don't feel good, it's really hard to show up for business, for our practice. And I noticed that too, is like I wasn't as productive as I was before when I was experiencing these symptoms and the adverse side effects. So coming off of all of that stuff, not drinking, eating healthy whole foods, tracking my food, not for restrictive reasons, but to make sure I'm getting enough nutrients, has been helping me feel better physically. And then I started to feel better emotionally. Now, I don't want to scare you and tell you that it took me a while, but the inflammation's gone, my joint pain has gone. And and sometimes, even though I go to the gym and I'm mostly healthy, sometimes there's those little things that are harming us that we really need to let go of in order to feel our best. So if this helps you, feel free to give it a try. And then our mindset. So not going to lie, after 10 years of being self-employed, there have been moments where, I thought by now customers should just be flocking over to me. I should constantly just be getting invited to things and I should never have to promote anything again. Like that is very childish and immature thinking, because when you watch successful people and you study them, they are so proud of what they're doing and they show up even more. And there's this whole cultural thing about it's not cool to try. Well, I want to make it cool to try again, because all the people I admire are trying. And by trying, I don't mean hustling or grinding. I mean, they're proud of what they're doing. They're people of excellence. They are showing up for both their craft and their marketing and their business, right? And so I decided I really want to start trying again. I'm not going to wait for anyone, even though I know I coach all my clients, create your own opportunities, but you sometimes assume that after a certain amount of years, you don't have to show up anymore. You don't have to promote your services or your artwork, and it's just going to all flock to you. When I stop promoting and I stop, putting the passion and the love behind what I'm doing, everything stops. And so we don't want that. We want growth, and that growth does require for us to share. And there are things that have gotten easier. As you have more experience, more resources, you may be able to hire support to help you offload. Technology is quickly evolving, so we can use apps and things to help us share instead of manually having to do it. I'm all about working smarter, not harder, but I think the intention of just doing everything in our power, doing our best, being our best has really helped my mindset. And another lesson that really helped me get out of the negative spiral is to realize I can't be the only one in the room cheering for other people. I have to also sometimes be cheered for. So if you're a person who is a community facilitator, caretaker, or you run events, or you're a speaker or something where you are constantly lifting others up, I think lifting others up is so important, and I hope to continue to do it. But I noticed that I was getting drained because I was constantly being like, come on, guys, I believe in you. Let's go. And then me, at the end of it all, would just feel so depleted and so down and so discouraged that I didn't have anyone motivating and cheering for me. And so I had to intentionally put myself in rooms where sometimes it looks like hiring a coach. Sometimes it looks like hanging out with a friend. Sometimes it just means listening to an inspiring book or podcast. And that really helped me. And I was reminded, like, we're not meant to do this alone. We always need someone to aspire to or be inspired by. And finally, the mindset of just being surrounded by success, not looking for shortcuts, learning from successful people, implementing what they're saying, having a beginner mind, and not thinking like, oh, I already know everything. I tried this doesn't work. And really not cutting corners. I noticed that when I'm most miserable or when things start to fall apart in my business or even my art career is when I'm not doing all the steps that I know I need to take. The simple act of showing up online, of occasionally pitching myself to a media outlet or even a gallery or a book proposal, taking charge, and also expecting, of course, miracles and support. But I noticed that I started to kind of wait for things to happen a little bit, or I got really into the doom scrolling negative vibes of looking at what was wrong, how weak and slow the art market was. And none of that was serving me at all, because there's still so many successful people who are absolutely crushing it, who are doing amazing things. And it's not that they don't experience challenges, it's just they become excellent problem solvers. And they know they're the type of people who will always figure it out no matter what life throws at them. And that's the kind of mindset I had to adopt, that I am a warrior. I am someone who's passionate about my life, my art, my business, and it's worth for me to show up. It's worth for me to learn something new and to try and try again. I hope this was helpful. And if you're looking for community and support, I'm really excited to share that my community membership, The Create Collective, is opening doors this March. And if you're listening to this episode later, feel free to check out the show notes and check out our waitlist if it is already closed. But we are celebrating 6 years of this community. And one of the things that helps my mindset, even if I don't feel like it, is to get in a room of people who share a similar mission, a mission of growing their art career, a mission of serving others, or growing their business, or being a good person out in the world. And that's essentially what we've created together. So you can go to createmagazine.co/collective and you can learn more about us. And we'd absolutely love to welcome you, to give you the support, the resources, the community that you might be craving. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a joyful, cheerful, motivated, and empowered season ahead.